G'day guys, you're about to watch a video which you need to watch if you have a roof rack or if you're looking for a roof rack. This is a follow-up and an aftermath video of a situation I wasn't fully aware of that I was in and my reaction to it, which was pretty poor, I gotta say. But the main emphasis of this video is to clarify to you guys out there who have a roof rack on your vehicle. You may have one of those roof racks, one of those brands that have different ratings for on-road and off-road. This is super important you watch this video because this is a safety issue if you are unaware. The main problem we found is that the information of the off-road load rating is very difficult to find. It's not hidden, I must stress and say that. It's not hidden, but you have to know to look for it. It is there, but you have to look hard. And in this video, I'll tell you how to find it. So if you have a roof rack, please watch. G'day guys, this is going to be an interesting video. I have stuffed up. I've made a big mistake. And it all started with me uploading a video on Sunday about Project Luxy Part 4. The big thing on the roof that everyone's been asking me about, we'll get to that right now. The roof rack. I am super passionate about this build. This is the most exciting build I've done so far. In particular, Part 4, it was the roof rack. Now, the roof rack drew a lot of attention, a lot of bad attention, I've got to say, from a lot of people. And initially, I thought it was just the 3%ers. It's about 3% of people come in and just throw negativity comments, normally. Okay, so normally get like, that product is shit, or you should have done this, you should have gone with that product, you should have gone that. Everyone on the internet has an opinion, and we get that 3% coming in. So the first comments that were coming in weren't that negative. It was all about a bloke called Tyler Thompson, which I didn't know at the time. Now, Tyler Thompson is a bloke who has another YouTube channel. His roof rack came off. He had a failure, it came off, and it appears he was overweight off-road. So there's a weight for on-road and a weight for off-road. This is what this video is all about. And that's how I stuffed up. But we'll get to that. Basically, it attracted a lot of attention. Sunday being a family day and looking at these comments, I was sort of being blasé about it. Yep, whatever, you know. I'll get to more detail on why I reacted like that in the comments. But what happened was, because I did that and then didn't look at my comments for a while, the next time I picked up the phone, which was late afternoon, it had blown up. The comment section had gone absolutely ballistic. And at that point, I could see there was something there. People were saying, Ronnie, stop all the bullshit about the rivets and making excuses. There is an issue with the load rating of that roof rack. And at that point, I realized there's something more to it than just a 3%er. This is a mass of people that have come in. I've got to look into this. A lot of that attention had come from Tyler Thompson's video. Now, Tyler, I've spoken to him personally. He was saying, look, it's just bad timing for me. But you know what? It's not bad timing for me. It's good timing for me, because had he not released that video with that amount of audience, maybe I would have never taken notice to what was going on. And I would never have done this video right now, which is going to reveal to a lot of you people that the roof rack you may have, regardless of what brand it is, it may not be up to the task. This is a really very important video for you to watch. You can learn from Tyler Thompson's mistake, you can learn from my mistake. I've been endorsing a product which I thought was up to the task. It's not. It's not up to the task for what I use it for. So the way I'm using it is giving you the wrong message, and I need to rectify that here. I've had a discussion with Rhino Rack in a conference call. I've had discussions with Tyler Thompson personally. Very genuine bloke as well. This is a very good awareness video for roof racks in general. I've broken it into sections so you can follow along. The first section I'm going to show you is a calculation on my Hilux, because when I'm on-road, I have this much carrying capacity. When I'm off-road, I have this much, which is bugger all. I'll show you right now. This is super important you understand this. I'm going to go through it quick. You can always rewatch this little segment if you like. My Hilux is a 2020 model, which means the roof rating on and off-road listed by Toyota is 75 kilos. That is something you need to know regardless of what roof rack you're putting on your vehicle. 75 kilos is what my vehicle can hold. Perhaps yours can hold more. Some can hold 120, some can hold less than that. You must know what this is, because it doesn't matter what roof rack you put on it. If that roof rack might be rated to 200-300 kilos, it's only still rated 75 kilos in the end because it's sitting on your roof. So my Rhino Rack rating is 75 kilos as vehicle limit, like that, right? The 75 kilos has to include the rack. So now I need to subtract the rack weight off the 75 kilo. The rack is 27 kilos as listed. Take that away from the 75, I'm left with 48 kilo cargo capacity on road, okay? On road. That's something we need to keep in mind there. 48 kilos is not a lot already as it is. The Rhino Rack off-road capacity is not the same as on-road, okay? Not the same. We've already established that. Off-road has a reduction of 1/3 in general, okay? 75 divided by 1.5 equals 50. So essentially 1/3 of 75 is 25 kilos. We are losing that 25 kilos because now we're off-road, because that's what Rhino Rack states. 50 kilos. That 50 kilos needs to include the roof rack, 27 kilos. Now we are at 23 kilos of cargo capacity. We can hold less cargo weight than what the roof rack weighs itself. You want to put a big awning on it, that's 25 kilos plus. You're 2 kilos over already, or more even. 4 Max Tracks is about 18 kilos. A Swag is about 20 kilos. Brackets, who knows? Lights, who knows? Shovel. Bags with your stuff in it. Here come the big ticket items, which we see on a lot of roof racks. Rooftop tents, 55 to 100 kilo. That's just a ballpark figure I've come up with. You couldn't even put half of that tent on my roof rack. So if you see a Hilux getting around, that's a 2020 version with my roof rack platform and a rooftop tent, and he goes off-road, overweight. Even if he doesn't, I guarantee you it'll be overweight, in my opinion. 48 kilos is the limit for on-road. Spare wheel, 55 kilos. So there you have it, folks. If I remove 2 Max Tracks from my roof, I'm okay for here. As soon as I go off-road, I have to remove almost everything because I've only got 23 kilos to work with. Now, let me state here, everything is in my opinion. This is the research I've done. I encourage you to check it yourself. So there's your calculations, and there is why I need to move away from this particular brand and product. It's not up to the task for what I do. It doesn't necessarily mean, now I have to stress about that here, I have to be careful with what I say, and a lot of this is in my opinion. It's not doing what I want it to do. And it's a shame because it's a nice rack. It's a really cool looking rack. It's just a damn shame that they've rated it for that off-road. A real shame. The only people that it might suit, in my opinion, are perhaps people who go to a caravan park, offload their roof rack, go out for day drives. If you are a tourer and you take that product out on a touring trip, you're only going to be able to have an awning on it. Maybe a Swag. So is there really a point in having a rack? That's something you have to consider and think about. Okay, we'll get more on about how easy and how hard it is to find that rating. But the next thing I want to talk about is my credibility and the way I do things, my rules. Now, my rules for products and brands that I have on my vehicle, they've got to meet one criteria, actually. It has to be good enough for me to tell my family and my friends that I recommend this product to you. I consider myself to have high standards. Some things on my vehicle I've been given, some things I've purchased, some things are a bit of a sponsor deal. But it's only because I have approached that particular product or they have approached me and it's actually a product I'm already using. If it's a product I've never used before, I don't accept any payments or anything like that. I will accept the product to test it out, and that is the other criteria, testing. Testing. If it survives the test, it stays on the vehicle. I'll talk about it more later. If it all of a sudden isn't there anymore, it didn't pass the test, or I didn't need it. It doesn't necessarily mean it was crap, I just didn't need it anymore. My discussion with Rhino Rack. This came about from me sending them an email. Instead of offering to send the rack back to them because I didn't pay for the rack, it's a sponsored rack, it got sent to me. No money has exchanged our hands, not that I need to tell you that, but I've now told you. So I offered to pay for the rack in full so we can just move along and be done with our affiliation because I can't use that product the way that I want to or you need to use it as already established. Anyway, I left my phone number, I got a text and an offer to join a conference meeting and have a discussion and they wanted some feedback from me. I said, yeah, this is great because people have asked for that in the comments and made suggestions of it. So I'm in this conference call and the first thing they wanted to know was my feedback on how to better show or educate or inform potential clients like yourself maybe if you're looking at the rack to see what the carrying capacity was because it is on the Rhino Rack website but it's difficult to find. In my opinion, you really got to dig for it. That's like I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. So I had a chat to them and I said, look, you need to put this on the page that people land on to buy that particular roof rack. It needs to say on-road capacity this much, off-road capacity this much. And if you can't come up with that formula because of some variables, because it's not always that simple, then you have to at least put off-road capacity compromised or lessened or whatever, just so people can see it and they know it's there so that when they go in, they understand what they're getting themselves into. I did some research. I found an on-seller, a third party. They were selling the rack and I went on the page and it said, this rack can take 100 kilos. It's on your screen right now. We all know that's bullshit because Toyota say that particular car can take 75 kilos. Definitely not 100. And I went through and I looked through all the specs. There's nothing about off-road capacity or anything. Nothing, just 100 kilos. That is already 25 kilos incorrect. So that is a danger, in my opinion. Let's move on. Why and how I responded to people on the internet during this situation. I've explained that already a little bit, but I'll go into it real quick again. Now, if I'm very brief on things, go back and watch it again so you can follow because I can't keep this video for too long. People aren't going to watch it. This is an important video. As I explained, I normally get the 3%ers. I wake up on a Sunday morning because that's when my release is. And I'm looking through, browsing before I get out of bed even. It's a bad habit, by the way, don't do this. And I'll respond. But any messages that are longer than 10 lines, honestly, I skim read it. Sometimes I don't even read it. So if you want me to read your comments, guaranteed, make it short. And I may respond and you can then make another short one, another short one. Long comments. Tyler Thompson sent me a really long one. I had to scroll 2.5 to be able to read it all, but I didn't read it all. I just skim read it. I clicked on a link to his video. I skimmed through his video. I commented, yeah, I watched your video. I questioned the way you mounted it. Blah, blah, blah. Rivets this, rivets that. You know, I'm praising about rivets. Now, rivets, let's talk about that real quick. Rivets are very strong. If used with the right material and the correct rivets, and of course glue. You need glue with rivets. So space shuttles, yes, boats, aircraft, These are all prime examples. However, where I was wrong about this stupid argument that I was just throwing in there, the roofs of cars, modern day vehicles, the metal is so thin. The metal is apparently 0.7 blah 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 numbers thick, which is bugger all. So you can have strong rivets, but what you're putting the rivets into may not hold. Therefore, other roof racks, when you drill through the roof and you've got a bolt plate underneath, it's got a nice fixing. It cannot fall off. Even if you roll your car, those type of roof racks will not detach unless you open your whole car as a tin can. So the rivet argument was just me trying to get rid of all the 3%ers, which turned out to be not the 3%ers. So what have I learnt from this experience? Well, it's been a reality check for me on my part as a content creator, because if I want to maintain my high standards, I really have to research everything a lot more moving forward, especially with things like this, because roof racks that are overloaded, like any roof rack on the market that's overloaded, is potentially a fatal accident. So if you overload your roof rack, no matter what brand it is, and something goes wrong, it's on you. Not on the manufacturer, on you. That's why you've got to be so careful. So what I've learned from this is we really need to research a lot what we have. The danger is, if you're excited like me with a vehicle, yeah, I wanted to put that on my car because I got the same roof rack on my Land Cruiser. I know it's going to work for my Hilux. That's the situation I was in. Put it on. Big rooftop tents, the big heavy ones, 100 kilo tents. How many roof racks can actually hold that? If you take my Hilux, for instance, the roof is restricted at 75 kilos. It doesn't matter what brand I put on it, I'm still limited to 75 kilos overall. But having the off-road reduction thing that some manufacturers do is an even bigger problem. It's a problem that I can't deal with. It can't go on my vehicle. So we all need to really look at what we're putting in our vehicles. And it's not just roof racks. It's a whole lot of things. Now what for me? Well, I happen to have a good mate who is a rep for another company, and that roof rack is on its way as we speak. Well, hopefully it's in transit overnight. It better be, because otherwise I won't make it in time. I got the last rack for a Hilux in the country of this particular brand. It's coming, and I've researched the absolute heck out of this brand. I ordered it yesterday, which was Monday afternoon, and they packed it, they sent it, it's coming. I've spoken to the owner of that company, and I obviously spoke to my mate first who organised it all, so really appreciative of that. Now, I'm going to reveal what that is in the live video if it gets here on time. I'm meant to be heading north on a trip. I'm meant to be leaving on Friday. The roof rack arrives on Friday. So we're delaying the trip to get this sorted, because if I head up north with that rack, it's not going to happen. I have to get this on. I have to do it. If for some reason it doesn't get here on time because of freight, then I'm going to have to take a few things off that roof to make it as light and as safe as possible. Get it as close to the limit as I can, but there's no way I'll get it to the off-road limit. No way. It's not possible without stripping a whole heap of stuff off. Wiring, lights, comms. I need that stuff up there, man. So it's a bit of a situation I'm in, and a situation that I hope that you never get into. So that's where I am at now. So hopefully you'll see a live video on Friday with me and the crew installing that new roof rack. And it'll be smile from here to here, because then this debacle is over. Man, I feel so much better now. Getting all that off my shoulders. I didn't sleep much on Sunday, I'll tell you that, because I feel the weight of my responsibility, and I have definitely dropped the ball on this. Definitely dropped the ball. Thanks for watching, guys. wish me luck.